Welcome back, everybody. Old Man Seth is back with the last week's gaming news, and everyone buckle up. We got some good stuff coming around this time. Our first topic of the day is a follow-up from last week with the whole ARK debacle. What in the hell is Studio Wildcard thinking? I don't know if any of you have caught up with the news or not, but last week we talked about their insane decision to actually re-release ARK as ARK Ascended and how they were going to attach it to ARK 2, and they were expecting their player base to actually pony up the money to buy this, even though initially they had said that this was going to be completely free. Now, the insane thing here is that they're actually expecting their player base to do this, even though we haven't seen anything about ARK 2. There's been no footage, there's been nothing. All we know is it's going to be a completely different game, and that they said they're going to make significant changes to what ARK is going to look and play like. Now, not surprisingly, there has been a lot of backlash to this information, and in response to this entire thing, Studio Wildcard has come out to, and I quote, and I'm going to read this to you all, "First things first, we are scrapping the ARK Respawn bundle." Well, no shit, guys. What the hell else were you going to do after everyone said you're going to be an absolute idiot? Followed by, "Our bad. We recognize how combining ARK Survival Ascended with ARK 2 and requiring further DLC upgrades wasn't optimal, especially since you wouldn't be able to judge ARK 2 as no gameplay or content would be available yet." No shit, guys. Our bad, huh? So they've come out and they've said they're going to increase the price of ARK by $10 and include all the DLC that was supposed to come out with Survival Ascended, and they're just going to not include ARK 2. So they've gone to, hey, we're gonna redo ARK. It's gonna be ARK Ascended, and now, we're gonna make it free to everyone. It's not gonna be that big of a deal. But oh no, wait, hold on. You're gonna have to pay $50 for this. We're also going to attach ARK 2 to it, and everybody should be happy, right? Clearly no one was happy, but oh wait, this is our final offer. What do you guys think? We're gonna give you ARK Survival Ascended. We're gonna include all the DLC, and you get to pay $60 for it. Now, I feel that this move is completely insane. Absolutely, totally insane. They have a very dedicated and very loyal player base. And as of this moment, they're expecting their player base to actually go out and support this, and I guess they really don't have a choice. The official servers for ARK Survival Evolved are actually going down in August. So ultimately, the player base either buys ARK Survival Ascended and gets all this DLC, or they're completely left out in the cold with all of this hard work and time they've actually put into this game up until this point. Holy shit, Batman. What are these guys doing? Now, I really think that the players are getting screwed here. This is a gross move by Studio Wildcard. Coming out, saying that this is going to be free, then putting a price tag on it with the next title in the series, then saying, all right, hold on, you guys didn't like that. We're going to include DLC, and now we're going to make it more expensive. Unless we see some super groundbreaking stuff from ARK 2, I can't imagine the player base is actually going to acquiesce to this decision that they're making. People are going to be pissed. I think this is ultimately going to hurt Wildcard Studios when it comes to releasing ARK 2 unless they actually release something that shows us that ARK 2 is going to be completely groundbreaking and innovative. Honestly, looking at this entire thing, this feels like an incredibly dirty move, and I know that we all know that games are a business, but holy shit, this is just an absolute insane amount of, I don't know, hubris, I think, that Studio Wildcard is actually showing. So altogether, we're looking at a version of a game that was initially supposed to be free, got a price tag attached to it so that they could also sell their next installment, and then a retraction of that saying you're not going to get the next installment, but we're going to give you the DLC for even more money. So what do you all think? Is this something that we can expect from studios in the future? Are some studios getting just a little bit too ahead of themselves, trying to parlay their situations into making more money? There's definitely some folks out there who feel like this might just be a ploy to basically get more eyeballs on their product so that they can turn around and maybe look like good guys down the line. I don't really know if that's the case or not, but if they are doing it, it would be a master stroke and some real big 4D chess. If you guys have anything to say about it, put it all below. Let me know what you're thinking, or just chime in with your general feelings about what Studio Wildcard is doing currently with ARK. Our next topic is going to be something a little bit more lighthearted and maybe something that all of you as gamers are going to really appreciate. I'm going to take a quick second to talk about a brand new Steam release called Crab Champion. If you guys are looking for a silly good time and something that you can sink a little bit of your lives into and have just an absolutely fantastic time with, look no further. Crab Champions was released by DJ Noisestorm. Some of you might actually know him from the viral YouTube video Crab Rave. This is his first attempt at gaming, or making a game rather, and holy shit, is this game an excellent time. Basically, what Noisestorm has done is taken his internet meme video and turned it into a fast-paced arena shooter that allows you to go through with different weapons and different builds set to a very, very, very cool soundtrack. Honestly, I'm not being paid to say this, but it's only $10 on Steam right now. It's in early access, and I really think that this one has a bright future if you like the aforementioned styles of games. It definitely has a little bit of roguelike to it, not roguelite. This is a full-blown roguelike. You start out, you have a weapon, the only thing you can do is make a build, try to make it work, and see how far you can get. The only things that you're actually going to have to unlock in this are skins and the different weapons that you use, which honestly, if you play on easy or normal, isn't really that hard. Personal experience, I do not advise you playing on Nightmare right away. You are going to have a terrible time because the game is actually that hard. However you look at it, the great thing about this is that you get in, you spend a little time, you either win or you lose, and you become the overpowered skippy-dippy crustacean that you know that you can be. Again, the really cool thing that you can do with this is that there's multiple different build paths with elemental builds, with just straight up damage builds, with crit builds. You can even do melee builds in this, which I personally haven't done because it seems like it's insane, but I've definitely watched a few of my friends play this on stream, and they've made it work. The really cool thing about this entire thing is that it is set to an absolutely amazing soundtrack that's only going to get better over time. This one is just a lot of fun. You can play it with friends. It has up to 4 different people that can play together at the same time. It's definitely one that you should look into if you're into this style of game. Seriously, guys, don't sleep on this one. It's a hell of a time. It's only $10. I am not being paid to say this. This is just a very fun game that I think will be worth your hard-earned dollars. Have any of you played it? What do you guys think about it? Do you all think it has a big future like I do? If you haven't heard about this game, do you have any questions? Fire them down in the comments. Let me know. I would love to hear what all of you guys have to say about it if you have played it, and I would love to answer any questions to any of you who have no idea what the hell I'm talking about. Our third topic for today is going to be a bit more serious. We're going to be talking about Denuvo, DRM, and how Square kind of shit themselves this last week. Over this last week, they have actually quietly removed the DRM that they got from Denuvo from a couple of their titles. So those 2 titles were Valkyrie Elysium and Triangle Strategy, followed by the fact that Capcom just recently got rid of the Denuvo DRM on Resident Evil Village. The only thing I can imagine right now is that the pirates must be absolutely ecstatic about the fact that they can actually pirate these games now. So why is all this newsworthy? I think that all of us know, if you are a gamer, that when it comes to DRM, it's kind of a not, really well-kept secret that DRM can actually affect a lot of people's PC performance when it comes to the games they're trying to play. Denuvo has come out and said that there's no information whatsoever that could possibly back up all these claims that our code is actually making your computers work harder or screw up or underperform. A lot of independent research has actually shown otherwise. The crazy thing here is that it hasn't just been a bunch of people who are basically users. This has actually been something that someone from the industry has come out and corroborated. The actual director of Tekken 7 came out and said that, you know what, your guys' stuff is screwing up people being able to play our game on Steam, and your code is definitely affecting people's PC performance when they're trying to play certain video games. So what does this really all mean for all of us? Well, essentially, if you have a top-flight computer system, you can probably play a game that has Denuvo DRM in it and still not really see much of an issue. The problem is, people with maybe lower-end systems are still going to have a hard time running it. The reason being is that the code that Denuvo has put in there for their anti-piracy is basically making all of their components work harder, and the games that these people are trying to play, they aren't actually getting the experience out of them that they would like. So essentially what we're looking at is if some people buy this and they can't actually run the game that they were promised, that isn't really a great situation. Now, we should all be able to agree that, again, video games are a business, and developers should be able to protect their property from people just breaking it open and letting everyone on the internet download and play it. The downside is that the cost to the consumer can be really rough here. When people are trying to buy these games and they know that their system should be able to run the game, if they have one bad experience, is this going to actually create problems for people who want to buy games in the future? I kind of think it might. Now, I personally don't like DRM, but I also don't think it's going to go anywhere. These places want to make their money, understandably, and from here on out, all of us are just going to have to make educated decisions. So what do you guys think? Are we going to have to keep swallowing this down? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. How do you guys feel about DRM? Do you think it's a necessary evil? Do you think that we'll ever see the end of it? Or do you think it's just going to be something that we're always going to have to deal with? Now, our last subject of the day is going to be another lighthearted one. I was looking through some stuff on the internet and I found out that Sony had took out a patent for a new peripheral, essentially, that they're going to develop, and at the same time decided to take a huge old shit on Microsoft and Nintendo. So these cheeky bastards at Sony last week officially released a patent that they had actually applied for last year, but now we get to see it because it was published, where they were going to try to make a peripheral that was essentially going to be able to control any media that you have in your home. So think if you have a PC or a Sony PlayStation or anything that could work off of this one universal remote, you could use it to control all of them and any of them at any given point in time. So let's say you're sitting down and maybe you have your PlayStation attached to a TV and you're going to try to watch something or stream something on it. You can actually control that Sony PlayStation from that one remote. At the same time, you could actually control things on your PC as well, but who the hell knows what you would do with it, right? It could be anything like music, it could be something else that you're watching, it could just be you flipping through some pictures, who knows. They also said that it could be used to control other platforms. It could be used to control like Nintendo products, it could be used to control Xbox or basically Microsoft products. So, why was this so funny and why am I so entertained by it? Well, after looking through the verbiage of the patent, and this is again a quote directly from what the patent says, we will be able to use this peripheral to control any media in the home, whether it's PC or PlayStation, any kind of PlayStation product, Sony product, etc. And they follow that up with, or any other home entertainment systems of a different, albeit inferior manufacturer. So I think that we can all probably agree that Sony just took a big ol' swipe right at Microsoft and Nintendo, right? Guys, the ball's in your court. Are you guys gonna fire back or are you just gonna let Sony get away with this? What do you all think? Is this the first salvo in the fight between the three different, mega console makers? I personally think that this was just a fun little thing that someone at the Sony patent office was just being a dick about, and they just felt like taking a swipe essentially at the other two. If you guys have anything to say about this one, go ahead and throw it in the comments below. I'd love to see what you guys have to say about it. That does it for this week, everybody. If you guys have anything that you want me to cover for next week, by all means, link it below. I will take a look at it, especially if it happens over the next week or so, since this one is published. I hope you guys all enjoyed the presentation. I hope you guys all enjoyed the news and my opinion on it, and I hope to see you guys back soon.